Gotta respect the hustle on Fox News. They try their best. It's a losing argument, but they put forth their best effort every day. All right, so I'm sure, as many of you saw yesterday, Israeli forces and Iran-backed Hezbollah fighters have engaged in fighting on the ground in southern Lebanon after Iran launched its largest ever attack on Israel Tuesday. The Israeli military said 8 soldiers were killed in combat. I hadn't heard that until I looked this up before the show, because last I saw yesterday was nobody was killed. I was kind of surprised to see that there were casualties. Iran's attack on Israel in Lebanon. Israeli strikes have killed hundreds of people and displaced about 1 million residents. Didn't know that either. Iran fired about 200 ballistic missiles in Tuesday's barrage, which is said was in response to the killing of a Hezbollah chief and a Hamas political leader on Iranian nuclear sites. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said Iran will pay as fears grow of a wider all-out war between the two regional military powerhouses. Iran's military chief warned of broader strikes if Israel responds. President Joe Biden said he does not support a potential Israeli attack on Iranian nuclear sites. People in Tehran are on edge ahead of possible retaliatory attacks in Iran. In Lebanon, Israeli airstrikes have killed hundreds of people and displaced about 1 million residents. For those any Republicans that are listening, Tehran is the capital of Iran. I'm sure you didn't know that. But John, John's taking a drink. Ria, what were your thoughts when you first saw this?
Well, I thought that nobody died except for one Palestinian from the bombardment, specifically from Iran. Because, I mean, I'm no fan of Iran. I mean, we could talk forever about the craziness of Iran, but it does seem that they definitely try to bring the amount of casualties as low as possible when they bombard. Like, some people say they're just trying to save face or trying to do a response. I don't really know, but I didn't think anybody died except for one Palestinian in that bombardment. So 7 people died?
8, yeah. I was surprised to see the number 2,
yeah.
It's probably one of those things where people didn't die immediately and then died.
Yeah.
I think that when I look at Joe Biden talk about this, he said, I don't know when he said this, but he said they need to stop. He says, somebody asked him about it and he goes, well, they just need to stop. They need to stop. You know, it's getting too out of control. I think I would imagine that there is an effort to stop all of this and to stay out of a huge regional war. Yeah. I mean, there's even people in the military industrial complex that have pushed back on Joe Biden green lighting a ground invasion of Lebanon. Even the military industrial complex pushed back against that. Like, even the deep state pushed back against that shit. Like, supposedly Joe Biden was giving them a green light for a ground invasion. So, I mean, my point is that, like, people generally, like, or a lot of people don't want this to explode into a regional conflict. Israel obviously does, and it's just scary. It haunts me. That's how I feel about it.
Yeah, we're sitting in a situation here where, honestly, and again, as you said, Iran ain't like the good guys. Like, Iran is a very bad country in many, many ways. But thank God that they have responded to things in the way that they have. Thank God when Trump assassinated that general, I'm forgetting his name,
Qasem
Soleimani, they just decided to let bygones be bygones. Thank God, because like if they did something, and it would have been easily escalated into all-out war. Here, thank God, this is all they've decided to do. And it is actually funny. It's like they're stunting on them. Like, oh yeah, guys, by the way, you can bomb military targets without killing any civilians. And we're not even doing, and we're doing it against one of the most well-defensed pieces of earth on the planet, and we're still able to do that.
Yeah.
So I get what they're doing. I wish they hadn't done it, but I understand what they did. Because I just, there's no reason for Bibi to not continue to escalate. There's no incentive for Netanyahu to not go into all-out war with Iran. That's the best possible outcome for him. It's only good. There's no downside, because soon as the fighting stops, he's out of power. So he wants to keep the fighting going forever, and he wants Biden to lose. Which, as much as we hate Biden for his support of Israel, Bibi would rather have Trump in there, where Trump's just saying turn everything into a parking lot. Like that's the calculus we're playing with here, which is why I said earlier in the show, the approach that Biden is taking doesn't make any sense. It's almost like he thinks he's taking a principled approach against his own benefit, because at this point it's clearly hurting Kamala's chances. It was always hurting Kamala's chances, but it's very clear and obvious at this point. If this escalates into an all-out war, there's no way that helps anyone but Trump. But he's greenlighting boots on the ground, an invasion of Lebanon, an invasion of a sovereign nation. Like, it's insane just how this is going, and I just don't see it ending well for anyone.
Does anybody ever stand up to Netanyahu? Is there a person on the earth in any position that's able to do that? I mean, because Joe Biden, he just won't. He just won't. It freaks me out.
Yeah. I don't know. It's with Netanyahu. Yeah, you're right. It's like it's funny that you remember when Biden ran, that the two things that he really hung his hat on was his ability to negotiate in the Senate. Is that, I can get the Republicans to work with me. The veil will lift or something like that, he said, and the Republicans will stop being obstructionists and they'll work with me because I got the silver bullet to deal with them. And also his foreign policy credentials, that, I can solve all these foreign policy problems. And like the foreign policy thing is what Biden may be remembered for the most, with this collapse of everything that's gone on in Israel and how they've played him. Like you said, like John said, it's like there's any illusion that, how many times do we have to read articles that say Joe Biden is furious at Netanyahu behind the scenes? It's like
Joe Biden furiously waves his fist and says, "Cut the malarkey." To
They're doing the same thing with Kamala Harris, though. Have you guys noticed that? Like,
what?
They take any little thing and they're like, "Oh, well, behind the scenes, she's very on board of the ceasefire." They make up all these stories. Yeah.
It's cut the malarkey and cut the check. Let's get them some more money and we'll be good to go. And with Netanyahu, I don't know if you guys saw this chilling speech. This was like right before the attack by the Iranians. Oh, and before I play this, I wanted to, before I forget, and John, you were talking about now Rio. I do think Iran is just doing it to save face. I do, because at least I thought that when no one died. The fact that it was 8 people, I was like, oh man, maybe they do mean business. Because I'm sure Iran doesn't want to go to war with Israel either. Like, why would they? It's if they did, they wouldn't bother with the proxies. They would just go to war themselves. But they don't want to go with the United States, and we don't want to go to war with Iran. That might be the only thing that kind of saves this from collapsing even more. Because the last thing the United States wants is to get
Joe Biden would do it.
Go to war with Iran? No, I don't think he would. I don't. And it's primarily because, we did want to go with war with Iran back in the day. Back when we started the war on terror, Iraq was like our pregame warm-up or whatever. Everyone knew that the Iraq war, like Saddam was going to be a pushover. Rebuilding the nation, not so much, but actually defeating militarily wouldn't be an issue. Iran, though, totally different story. It's like 3 times as big. It's got a lot more money, and it would be like if Afghanistan had as much money as California. It's an impossible war to win. And we know this. We are very well aware of it, that it's well too defended of a position with way too much money. So we're like, no, we don't want that. The Israelis are the ones that are worried about, going to war, but not us. But let's see what Netanyahu had to say. This is, if I remember correctly, the day before the Iran strikes.
Is this addressed to the... Is this the address to the Lebanese people made in
This
English?
is his address to the Iranian people.
To the Iranian people. Okay.
Mm-hmm. He's gone Mr. Worldwide. He's addressing every nation one by one. And
in English.
In English, of course. Yeah.
The leaders of Iran. Yet at this pivotal moment, I want to address you, the people of Iran. I want to do so directly, without filters, without middlemen. Every day, you see a regime that subjugates you make fiery speeches about defending Lebanon, defending Gaza. Yet every day, that regime plunges our region deeper into darkness and deeper into war. Every day, their puppets are eliminated. Ask Mohammed Deif. Ask Nasrallah. There is nowhere in the Middle East Israel cannot reach. There's nowhere we will not go to protect our people and protect our country. With every passing moment, the regime is bringing you, the noble Persian people, closer to the abyss. The vast majority of Iranians know their regime doesn't care a whit about them. If it did care, if it cared about you, it would stop wasting billions of dollars on futile wars across the Middle East. It would start improving your lives. Imagine if all the vast money the regime wasted on nuclear weapons and foreign wars were invested in your children's education and improving your health care, in building your nation's infrastructure, water, sewage, all the other things that you need. Imagine that. But you know one simple thing. Iran's tyrants don't care about your future, but you do. When Iran is finally free, and that moment will come a lot sooner than people think, everything will be different. Our two ancient peoples, the Jewish people and the Persian people, will finally be at peace. Our two countries, Israel and Iran, will be at peace. When that day comes, the terror network that the regime built in 5 continents will be bankrupt, dismantled. Iran will thrive as never before. Global investment, massive tourism, brilliant technological innovation based on the tremendous talents that exist inside Iran. Doesn't that sound better than endless poverty, repression, and war? From Qom to Isfahan, from Shiraz to Tabriz, I speak.
All right, so Rio, I want to go to you first because you had the same reaction I did when I saw this, when Netanyahu said, when Iran is finally free, and that day is coming quicker than most people think. I saw you kind of jump. Yeah, what was your reaction to seeing that?
Well, my question to him is, if I was there and I was a reporter, I would be like, explain exactly what a free Iran is. What does that mean? Does that mean that Israel gets to expand and have like some gigantic state? Like what? There's always a crazy angle, because Netanyahu is a complete sociopath. He is like probably the most evil person that I can conceive of, Netanyahu, or at least one of them. And he always has this horrific view or meaning behind his words. What is the free Iran? Like, I'm thinking immediately, like, obviously get the Ayatollah out of there, give women their rights. But for Netanyahu, what does the free Iran mean, though? Because I'm sure it's not all about human rights. So that's just, yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah, it actually was stunningly similar to what Omni-Man
oh my God,
said to the people of Earth. Like, it's just like, no, you'll be so much better in the Viltrumite Empire. Imagine all of the technology we could give you, and like burning around him. Like that's whenever someone says something like that, it's like, okay, well, why don't you just fucking like let them come to Israel then, bro? Like,
so
if you're so worried about these people, let them come to Israel. What's
and
the
notice
problem
how he said, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, continue.
Notice how he said, oh, you're going to join the economy with the rest of the West. You know, you're going to join this economy and you're going to have the tourism that we have and you're going to have the connections that we have. It's just really creepy. The other thing is, he says that the noble Persian people, all right? And he's like talking to the Persian people, trying to rizz them up, basically. But then he says, there's nowhere we can't reach.
Yeah.
So he's threatening civilians
to defend ourselves
while he's talking to civilians.
Yeah. They're taking you into the abyss. Like, oh my fucking God. It actually, the other thing that it reminded me of was exactly how Republicans talk about Ukraine. Of like you know, why are they spending all of this money fighting Russia when they could just, you know, give Russia the Donbass and, you know, be fine. You know, I don't understand why they're doing. Why are we wasting all of our money? You know, we could be spending this on all the things that we won't spend it on. Like that. That's exactly. It was almost written by the same fucking people.
Yeah, with his nice country you have there. It'd be a real shame if something happened to it. I got that kind of vibe with him going. And it is especially chilling when he gave essentially the same speech to the people of Lebanon just a week ago, right? Saying that, you know, our fight is not with you. Our fight is with your government. And if a few of you happen to die along the way, well, that's not our fault. And it's everyone who saw that said, "Oh, he's definitely planning something against Iran." Like we all know that's what's coming here. I I I've long been fascinated at the United States, well, specifically our countries, and our hatred and suspicion towards Iran. And that if you ask people why we have this negative relationship with the Iranian government, they always go back to 1979, the Iran hostage crisis. No one ever talks about the fact that the United States and Great Britain worked for decades to screw over the Iranian people and to steal their resources. No one ever talks about that. That's that they always assume that, well, it's kind of like how they view Palestinians. Well, those are the bad guys. They're bad. Like the history be damned. We don't got so any provocation on their part is just seen as evil people being evil. Like no one is asking right now, does Iran have the right to defend itself? No one. I haven't seen that question being asked anywhere, and it's not going to, because that's not part of the narrative that the Israel is our ally, so everything they do is all right. And once again, none of this requires you to back the Iranian government, to say that people have free and equal rights. I just like, the United States of America does not give a shit about free and equal rights around the world. We don't. If we did, we wouldn't be best friends with Israel. We wouldn't be best friends with Saudi Arabia, like countries that we wouldn't run our country the way we do. Like we just put this mask and this facade on that the world has good guys and the world has bad guys. And I wanted to share this map that you two probably seen already, but I thought it was pretty interesting. I don't know if you guys remember back when they would always have these polls on which country is the greatest threat to world peace. We would say Iran a lot. That was always the country that was put up there. And I don't know if any of you guys watching had ever noticed this, but I've always loved this map that Iran wants war. Look how they place themselves right between all these military bases of the United States. They're clearly provoking us. I mean, this hasn't been their ancestral land for like 5,000 years or anything, but the fact that they just dared to place it where they knew the United States of America would plant a bunch of military bases to make sure they don't act up seems kind of fishy to me. I don't know if we can trust them.
I'm sorry. Did Elon Musk share that?
Oh, no. Was that an Elon Musk thing?
It's speaking about Elon Musk.
Oh, I didn't read the article.
No.
American billionaire Elon Musk, who many know for his space reports, has recently spoke out against the presence of international topics. I don't know if he was Elon Musk or not.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I don't know.
What matters is that these freaking terrorists snuck their little country in between our military
all
bases.
Our military bases. Who would have thunk? I know. It is some wild shit. I don't know. It is just really unsettling that Netanyahu feels completely emboldened. Like he has Biden right where he wants him, and he can do whatever he wants now. Biden has already said he won't do anything. There's no red lines in there. After the Lebanon thing, the fact that the United States said, okay, that's enough. It was all the evidence he needed. So I don't see, I don't know, like there's no support from the people. And to be fair, it's not like Netanyahu has this upswell support from his people either, but what are we going to do? Like, I don't know. Ria, what do you think?
He has a blank check. He has like weird absolute power, and he's totally exercising it. And that's all we can say. He this is when you have insane tribalism. This is when you have an ethno state, which is something that's not inherently based in human rights. And we in the West, we kind of pretend that we believe that all governments should be based in human rights. We pretend to believe that. But Israel is an ethno state that fundamentally, like you said, does not believe in human rights, because they don't even believe that Palestinians have a right to defend themselves, or that Iran has a right to defend themselves. And if you listen closely to Netanyahu, he does not believe in rights. He doesn't. And that's the horrific, scary thing. And he has a blank check, and he keeps going and going and going. And like people just, I don't know. I don't know if someone's going to like eventually stand up and stop him. I don't know how this is going to play out.
Yeah.
It's tough. I wanted to share this other thing. Have you guys seen the CNN clip about about Tel Aviv?
Oh, I think I know what you're going to say about Mossad.
Yeah. So
yeah.
It is a blood-boilingly infuriating clip about. I'll just play it here.
Oh, dude, yeah.
that among the targets were Israeli airfields, but also, and this is crucial, the headquarters of Mossad, the International Intelligence Service of Israel, which is inside Tel Aviv. It's in the northern part of Tel Aviv, but it's in the city. It's in a densely populated area. And of course, the concern is if you're firing, even though Iran might consider that a military target, it is in a densely populated city with civilian. Just one more layer of escalation. The U.S. intel view.
It's like it makes me want to just body slam someone through the fucking wall.
Yeah,
like
bro.
We have this sense, and I have it, and it sucks, but it's just a natural sense. It's like, oh, the media doesn't know what they're doing. Oh, because like when I talk to normal people about this topic, I assume that they don't understand. Like I assume that like there's a lot of information they haven't gotten over the years because of dense walls of US propaganda. And so like I give them this benefit of the doubt constantly whenever I'm talking about this with a normal person. But that's not the fucking media. The media knows exactly what they're doing.
Yep.
They will say one thing on one side and say the same exact thing is bad about the other. And I've been saying this entire fucking conflict from day goddamn one, ever since they started saying the human shields bullshit that, hey, their fucking headquarters is literally in the middle of Tel Aviv. Would that be like a legal military target in your opinion? They always go no. And it's like, why the fuck not? It doesn't make any sense. They just bombed by Beirut, a sovereign fucking nation, a city, and they're like, oh, that's where their headquarters is. Fucking human shields. It doesn't make sense. You must be able to say, yeah, no, Iran has the right to bomb Tel Aviv now. That has to be the logical, consistent conclusion. It's not, because this was never about basic human rights for you. It was always about Israel is right and everyone else is wrong. That's
only
it.
Israel has rights. That's the end belief. That's the belief of Zionism, is that only Zionists or the state of Israel has rights and no one has any other rights.
All right, guys, you made it to the end of the video. If you are like Jimmy Carter, then you might be a ghost very soon. that was a weird segue, depending on what video you just ended on. We might not have even included Jimmy Carter or the ghost discussion in any of the videos that we released today. That's why you should watch us live on Wednesdays and Thursdays at 6:30 Eastern Time. If you loved our guest today and want to know where to see him, Rio, how should people be able to find you?
Nathan Rio on TikTok. It's just my personal account. Just share my thoughts about religious deconstruction, about deconstructing capitalism, and that type of stuff.
Hey, we appreciate it, man. Thanks a lot for joining us, guys. We appreciate you as always. Check out Rio's content where he will not attempt to sell you anything. You have our word and hit, and we'll catch you guys next time. Later.